This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It's Jake. I know I say almost every episode that I have a special episode for you, which, frankly, why would I not have a special episode for you? That would defeat the entire purpose of the podcast, premise and actual reality. So today, however, is not special. Today is extra special because today we are speaking with ESP out of Watkinsville, which is on the outskirts of Athens. This is a nonprofit. ESP stands for Extra Special People. This organization specifically exists to improve and empower the lives of the special needs community. But I'm going to tell you, the people that are probably impacted the most is everybody else that the special needs participants touch. I have tried to record this intro a couple times. I keep breaking down, and I'm going to try to get through it one more time. For those of you who have listened to the first episode of this podcast, you'll know that we have a 2.5-year-old right now that was diagnosed at the beginning of the year with autism. So, this is just a very near and close to our hearts. And of all the episodes that I've done, this is the one that I was honestly most nervous about because not because of the subject matter, but just being able to hold it together. As you're clearly seeing, I'm having trouble to in a re-recorded intro, but we talk with two of just the world's best people, Laura Graben and the Nikki Stanley. And Nikki's one of those people that I have a few people in my life that are kind of like Nikki, and I tell people, I'm like, you don't meet this person, you experience this person. And man, what a treat it was getting to hang out with these folks for a little bit of time. I'm going to tell you, if you want to use your free time to improve your outlook on life, the people around you just create awesome memories and create a lifelong ripple effect of change for good. You need to get synced up with these people and find time to interact with them, whether it's with their Java Joy operation or with one of the fundraisers they have throughout the year. You will be a better person for it, and I can't wait to let you in on today's podcast. Don't forget, you can always find us on Facebook, North Georgia Life Podcast, same as Instagram. You can email us at northgeorgialifepodcast@gmail.com if you have any ideas, thoughts, suggestions on future podcasts. And if there's anything we can do, if you've got a child that is in or a family member or friend who is in the special needs community that frankly needs some help or needs some community, just give us a shout. With that, here is ESP and Java Joy. Welcome to the North Georgia Life Podcast. It is Jake, your host, and I'm going to start off by telling you I'm not quite sure how to prepare you for today's episode. This is going to be a game changer for a lot of people, and so I want to tell you from the start, if you don't have time to listen to this episode start to finish, you just need to hit pause and pick it up when you do have time. We are speaking with Java Joy and ESP, which is out of Watkinsville, Georgia, which is on the outskirts of Athens. I came across this organization back in the spring for the first time. ESP stands for Extra Special People, which we were joking about earlier. You might want to call them the Incredibles because extra special isn't quite good enough for describing this organization or the people in it. But I came across this organization back in the spring on a service project that our company was doing. And we were at a place called Camp Hooray, which is in Jefferson, Georgia. And it is a camp that is unlike anything that I've ever seen or experienced or know of or have heard of for the special needs community. And it was one of those things that I sat and talked with their director of operations, Gina, who was kind of organizing the troops that day, for about 30 minutes after we got done. And in the process of learning about her story and this organization and the camp and some of the other things that they do, it was kind of the tipping point in getting the podcast off the think tank shelf in that I was just like, people have to know about this place and this organization and these people. And there's a lot of restaurants that we like to refer our friends to, or places to go. But this is one of those things that's kind of a life changer and a game changer. And when it's stuff like that, you need a bigger vehicle than just a face-to-face meeting with someone. So today we are going to talk with Laura Graben, who is the Java Joy and Corporate Partner Coordinator for ESP, and the Nikki Stanley, who is one of their Joyristas, which if you go online and kind of learn a little bit about what the Joyrista is, you're going to love this episode. You're going to love the Nikki Stanley. I've just given you a new name, by the way. You are now the Nikki Stanley. So, Laura, we'll start with you. Share a little bit about how you got here to ESP, Java Joy, and just kind of your backstory.
Yeah, of course. So I attended the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. And at that point in time, I was pursuing occupational therapy. So I was talking to a couple of friends and needing to find some places to volunteer and get some experience. And she was like, you need to volunteer at ESP. So I started here as a volunteer for their after-school program. And that very next semester, I knew that I wanted to take a little bit more of a leadership role. And so I came on as one of the interns for their after-school program, teaching cooking and fitness. And at that point, Java Joy had just started. So we started back in December 2016 is when we launched. And then that January of 2017 was when I was an intern. And so as a teacher of the cooking class, one of my supervisors was like, I would love your help making some muffins for Java Joy for this event we have. And I was like, of course. So I took off from my other job, came here and baked muffins with the Joyristas. And there were only 5 at the time. And we just had the best time. It was just so fun, and I was like, I have to have more of this. And I told him, if you ever have an event, if you need me for anything, like just call on me, I will be there. And so we started getting a little busier. He started calling on me a little bit more, and then it turned out to be a full-time internship. Mm-hmm. So became the Java Joy intern and helped manage Java Joy up until now. And now I'm finally, thankfully, can say that I'm a full-time member of the ESP team and overseeing Java Joy and our corporate partnerships.
So it all started with muffins.
All started with muffins. And they're delicious, too, yeah. Might I add.
Mm-hmm. That's the bone diggity.
So, Nikki, share with us a little bit. So this is the Nikki Stanley. Nikki, share with us a little bit about yourself. You are a Joyrista here.
Absolutely.
So how did you find your way to ESP and being a Joyrista?
It all started when I was very young, and I was raised and born in 1990 at the city of Athens, Georgia. And then I started having a lot of experience about camp, and then we started doing the bounce house when we used to do coffee right there, between iced coffee, and then we also did hot. And in 2016, we started doing Java Joy, and we went to the Jittery Joe's Roaster. Mm-hmm. Is when we were doing it, because I was a chosen one back then.
He says chosen one because he was one of our original 5 Joyristas when the team first started. So that's where chosen one comes from.
Hey, it's when you're the Nikki Stanley, you can be the chosen one.
Oh, absolutely. It's like when I be serving coffee, I like to make people happy, keep everyone strong, bring them joy and all that. We go to like Bulldog Kia, Athens Orthopedic, the ATO, which is Atlanta, the doctor's offices, the banks, and hair salons.
Yeah, and people at hair salons need a hug every now and then.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, because they love some good coffee.
So the mission of the organization at ESP is empowering people of all disabilities to transform others by spreading their unmatched joy. And I don't know who came up with that mission statement, but that is this organization in spades. It's very rare that you have an organization that has the mission and has the steps behind it to really embody that mission. But from everything that I know about this organization, the people I've met, and the I would say your volunteer ambassadors of this organization, I would say that is 100% accurate in spades. Laura, going back to you, so what made you want to get into occupational therapy, which then led to muffins, which then led to being an intern, which then led you here?
Yeah, so I'm from Rome, Georgia, and there was a little group that I had the chance to volunteer with called Skills for Life. And it was older adults, mostly with autism, but we did a lot of vocational kind of skills and went out into the community and did classes. And I just so loved that community and that group of people. And it really meant a lot to me. And I had never heard of occupational therapy. I came to college wanting to be a veterinarian, which is kind of comical now, but came to college wanting to be a vet and started learning more about life in general, and came across that occupation and knew that seemed like a fit for me, helping others, live their life better. And so I just latched onto it. And then, of course, the story from there, the muffins. And then, of course, this joy that they do spread, it latched onto me, and I couldn't get enough of it and knew that I couldn't leave, and made me change my major and total direction.
No big deal.
No big deal. But that's kind of the power that they have on you.
Yes. So this all started, the Java Joy and involvement in the leg of ESP. This started, I was reading online, in 2013 as the Bouncing Bean.
Yes. So Nikki kind of touched on that a little bit. We started a little coffee cart to give our adults at camp some vocational skills back in 2013, and they called it Bouncing Beans. And so during camp, which if anyone has the chance, they need to come and make it down one day to see camp during the summer, because it is such a magical experience in itself. But during camp, some of our corporate partners and just community members, we invite them to come out on Fridays. And so on those Fridays, they would just come up to Laura Whitaker, our executive director, and just say, Laura, we just feel so much joy. Like when we leave here and we go back to the workplace, back to our day-to-day, and we just have this joy that is just, we can't explain it, but all of our coworkers and everybody was just touching on that joy feeling. And so Laura and Jake, our director of programs here at ESP, were kind of standing back, looking at Bouncing Beans, looking at camp, looking at our corporate partners and community members, like all interacting. And they were like, there's something here. Like, what is it? Like, there's something here. And so they were like, why don't we take this out into the community and bring this to the community? And so that's kind of where they came up with Java Joy. And it's perfect because, unlike your typical coffee business, and there are other, great companies out there that employ adults with disabilities and give them that chance to have a job just like any typical adult. And those are great places, but consumers have to make the choice to go there over Starbucks or, whatever it might be in your town. And this brings the experience to you. Right. So I think a lot of people have hesitations about interacting with people with disabilities and just don't quite understand it. And that's okay, but we bring this experience to you. You don't even know that the experience is going to happen. It happens, and then you're transformed because of it. So it's really a beautiful thing to watch unfold.
Yeah. Is it true that you've seen more grown men cry than Tony Robbins?
Yes. I'm serious though. So many people, I've had the blessing of being able to, watch it grow from 2016 to now. And there have been a multitude of customers who have come up, and you can tell from the look on their face, the way they're holding themselves, they're scared. They're like, what is this? Like, what is going on? I don't know about this. And, just really timid. And then the joyeristas greet them, give them their cup, give them their hug, and their shoulders soften, they're smiling, and they walk away a totally different person than when they first approached. It's crazy to see.
Nikki, what's it like for you being on the other side of the counter, so to speak, in that experience?
Oh, I had a lot of experience. So, I had to make sure to keep up with it and adjust more, and plus, I love it.
Do you give hugs out with every cup of coffee?
Absolutely. Because you know me, I love giving out some hugs.
So we'll transition into the Java Joy mobile coffee service. This is specifically to employ adults with disabilities and delivering transformative joy. How does somebody, if they are in this greater area, how far out do you go? If they want to bring this to their department or their business, or there is a community function or whatever that somebody wants to get in touch and do that, what's that look like?
They'll call us and let us know if they want us to come, and then we're on the job, and we have like a bunch of customers getting some coffees, like hot coffee and iced coffee. If we run out of hot, we gotta brew some more. And then once I measure that thing, I'm like, batter up. Because I remember we were at that fundraiser at UGA, at that field, and we were like, that night they were doing an event about cancer, and then I was like, we gotta make some more, because we need some more coffee.
Serving up the joy.
I was like, thank God we brought that brewer with us. We were like, measure that water, fill the thing up, and then we started. And then there's fresh coffee out there for everybody to get some more. But when we did another event at the TEDx for UGA, we had a lot of customers that night. We were like selling coffee after coffee after coffee, and then we just sold out so quickly. It was fun. Crazy but fun, but I kind of enjoy serving a lot of coffee to everybody.
So when you run out of coffee, you just give everybody a hug?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. So how far
How
we?
far will Java Joy get?
All the way to the top.
Which is where?
What do you mean all the way to the top?
We were at that ATL serving National Muffin Day because we had a bunch of people coming out and getting some muffins from everybody. I know we visited the ATL, and some people visit Helen, Georgia, and they visit South Carolina
South Carolina.
for a wedding. But we'll deliver the joy anywhere.
Have you been further south than Atlanta?
No, I'm really directionally challenged. I know that we have, but I don't even remember the name of the town.
That's okay.
Just follow the map.
How far out is the range for delivering joy?
So as Nikki mentioned, we have gone to South Carolina and Helen, so a couple places that are pretty far. We will deliver as far as we can. I mean, there really is no limit as to where we'll come. If we're able to come, it's in our capability, then we'll be there.
Okay.
The only thing I could say is maybe, like, obviously can't visit like Oregon.
Yeah.
That might be a little difficult, but you can always bring a Java Joy into your city. So there you go.
Oregon's a little particular about their coffee anyway. So, so from an overall company perspective, can you share about some of the big events that the company has, ESP as the organization? It seems like there's 3 big ones in the calendar year recurring. There's the Big Jump, Big Hearts, and Big Ball for All. Can you share a little bit about those and what they are, how people can get involved with them, how they started, some of those things?
Yeah, of course. So ESP has 3 fundraisers a year, 3 big fundraisers. And that is, like you mentioned, Big Hearts in February. And that is a chance for our participants to get up on stage and shine. So we sell out the Classic Center. It's packed full, and the participants get to do a pageant, and it's also a show. So it's a perfect mix of the two. It really is. But they'll get on stage and do the show, and then afterwards we have a huge banquet. And those are 2 options where we would love to see people come from further places and get a little touch of ESP and what it's all about. And then we have Big Jump in May, and that is where our participants get to jump out of a plane. So again, it's a fundraiser. You raise money for your team, and then you jump out of a plane. And we have celebrity skydivers from the Athens area that pair up with our participants, and they raise money and rally in the community for it. But it's awesome. We have some participants who have jumped every single year.
Wow.
Nikki, have you ever jumped?
I've never jumped before. I was supposed to a year ago, but the weight limit, they were concerned about my safety, and it'll be too dangerous for me to jump.
Then in the fall, in August, we actually just had our first inaugural Big Ball for All, which is a golf tournament hosted by the Murray family. And it was a huge success. So again, another opportunity for if you're a little further away and you love to golf, we'd love to see you in August. It's going to be another great year, I'm sure.
These are 3 pretty massive events. Which one kind of came first?
Big Hearts,
Okay.
yes. So it kind of started with Laura had a vision for it, and a lot of people called her crazy, saying, why would you want to put them up on stage, and thinking that it was going to have the opposite effect than, it has now, because it's a beautiful show, a beautiful performance, and then the participants absolutely love that chance to get up on stage and have an act, and, they sing or they dance. It's an amazing night. And so there was a lot of pushback, but it turned into a beautiful performance. And I think the key for our fundraisers is that it's about our participants. It's about our ESP community. And so with each one, the ideas were just born out of what can we give to them? You know, like how can we serve them? And these ideas kind of were born out of that, like giving them the typical experiences that they seek. And it just kind of married those things together.
Mm-hmm. Nikki, tell me about the ball from your perspective.
From my perspective on Big Hearts.
Or Big Hearts, yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a dream come true.
Mm.
And it feels like people been rooting for me all this time because I love being rooted out there. And they always get a big support on ESP.
Is this something you look forward to year round?
This year?
Yeah.
This year is going to be really amazing because I'm a performer this year.
You're a performer?
Yeah. So the theme this year for Big Hearts is the real wildlife of flowers of gardenia.
Big Hearts in Bloom is the theme this year?
Yes.
Cool.
With the flowers.
There you go. Laura, you're in 30 counties, is that right? ESP serves?
Yes, yes.
And there's 2,000 individuals that involved in the program some way, shape, or form on an annual basis. What's the goal, the vision as far as growth, expansion, program development, any of those organizational things?
Yeah, so for ESP, it's definitely just to get a further reach. There are so many families out there, and you kind of touched on this in the beginning, though, that need this kind of community and just don't have it. It doesn't exist in their area, and that is the goal for ESP, is just further our reach, one family at a time. Like, who else can we impact? Who else can we bring in? Who else can we provide this resource to? Because it's not only important for the participant, but for the family as well. So ESP, for sure, that is the greater goal. For Java Joy, our goal is to be in every major city and provide the opportunity for adults to have a job and then share that joy with the world, because that is something that they give to this world that no one else can bring.
Yeah. Every city in the world has coffee.
Exactly.
So
and every city in the world needs joy.
Why not have joy and hugs with your coffee in the morning? This may be, I don't know, an unfair question. Do you have a best memory from being here?
My favorite memory is when we were going to the ECV, the East Campus for NKA, and we were doing a wing eating competition.
Wing eating.
Yeah, so my first round was 10 wings. Then I went for 10 more wings, and then I went for 5 wings. And when they were looking at me, I was like, bye. Yeah, and they were like, you better be careful with that stomach of yours before you get sick. I'm like, I did not even get sick.
How many wings did you eat?
25 pieces of chicken wings.
Okay, so one of my favorite memories, and gosh, there's just so many. This is really a hard question. But in lieu of just Java Joy, this is one thing that I always think back to. One of our juristas, April, when she first started with us, she was very shy, very much like to herself, didn't really want to interact with people a whole lot. And of course, we give a hug with every cup. So that was really difficult for her, and we didn't, push her into it. It's all about meeting them where they are. So she would do like hand hugs, or she would shake hands, things of that sort. And just recently, we had a customer come up, and I was like, April, you want to give them a hug? And she went and gave them a hug. Didn't even second guess it. Didn't even question what she was doing. Just walked up and gave them a hug. And that was so beautiful to me in that moment. Just seeing how, that's a lot of work for her. That's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And it's taken her this long, and she did it.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite memories for sure. But I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, that's a good one. You got another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, when I started doing Java Joy, like, my dog Jack will text me to see if I want to do Java Joy in the morning, and I'll text him and let him know that I will. And then I meet him outside. Like, I get out the door like Mulan every morning.
Also, one of my other favorite memories is just we go to Atlanta quite a bit to serve. And so it's the morning. It's like 4 a.m. I'm here, brewing coffee, getting things ready. That's early. Yeah. Nobody, even if you're a morning person, really wants to talk to anybody that early in the morning. The Joyristas always have so much energy. They are like ready to go. So on the way to Atlanta, it's like 5 a.m. at this point. We are blasting music, singing at the top of our lungs. We go to Atlanta, do our event, head home. Everybody's asleep in the back. And I'm just driving. I'm like, okay.
Not that like Sleeping Beauty. Every time.
They left you alone on the island.
Always alone. And I'm like, wouldn't it be nice if I could just be snoozing back there?
Laura, for people listening, and this is kind of in line with just where their heart is and what they want to do in life, having gone through the experience, whether it's a Java Joy or something in the nonprofit space to begin with, anything that you would share just as far as, your life experience to help them out?
Yeah, of course. So my advice would just be that the time is now. If you're thinking about getting involved with this kind of work, or you're trying to pursue this path, then jump right in head first. I know for me, my program was super valuable. I did the Master of Arts in Nonprofit Management here at UGA. That program was extremely valuable in just learning the ins and outs, and I've never had such caring professors. And they're executive directors here in Athens running nonprofits. So amazing experience. But we would love to share more with you if you're interested in learning more about that part of my story.
Okay. The goal of this podcast is to highlight some hidden gems in our North Georgia community. Any particular places that are kind of hidden gems that you know about that you'd like to share?
Yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Yeah.
So there is, Jittery Joe's is our coffee partner here in Athens, and they have a roaster. Obviously they have a roaster. It's a coffee company, but
not all companies do.
Exactly, though, but you can go to their roaster and try different kinds of coffee. You can see the roaster in the back, and they're so inviting and would love to teach you about the roasting process. And I know that's so Java Joy related, but it's such a cool place in Athens that I encourage everybody to check out. Other than that, I would say White Tiger downtown.
I know where that is.
So good. It's soul food. It's so good. And then, gosh, you really can't make a bad decision here in Athens. There's just too many good places to eat.
Nikki, any places you love that are in the area that people need to know about?
Oh yeah, I love eating Zaxby's.
It's indescribably good.
Yeah, it's the bomb diggity.
Zaxby's isn't really hidden in this area. But hit up our Zaxby's. This is good.
Yeah.
There's Brzezowski's, there's Bigham's, and let's see, Doggone Barbecue.
Those are your three favorites.
But for me, I kind of like Bigham's Barbecue because their mac and cheese is good.
There you go. Celebrity endorsement.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, the next 5-10 years, what would be one of your personal hopes, goals for Java Joy, ESP in general?
I would love to see Java Joy and ESP in every state, every city, just because this is needed across the U.S. and across the world. It's just something that is indescribable. It really is. And that would be the major goal. It's just to see Java Joy land in all of these cities and see how that hopefully transforms people. And I hope that I get to hear those stories too.
Nikki, you got any goals for the Java Joy and the Joyristas for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yes, I want to see some more people get jobs, and I want to teach them the experience to serve coffee and give them some hugs.
That's a pretty good goal for the next 5 to 10 years. Before we wrap up, I like to do something I call the lightning round, which has nothing to do with anything. It's just a fun question. Today's topic is sage wisdom from the unlikely source. This is kind of going to date myself a little bit here, but what piece of hip-hop culture legend lyrics is more sound life advice? Ice Cube, check yourself before you wreck yourself, or TLC, don't go chasing waterfalls? Which is better life advice? Don't go chasing waterfalls or check yourself before you wreck yourself?
I might have to say, don't go chasing waterfalls.
Okay.
I'm saying check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I'm saying that too, because when I was doing this, that little chorus of the song was so stuck in my brain. I'm like, that is such good life advice. You never thought Ice Cube would be the source of such good wisdom.
Ice Cube got deep. He did.
Yeah, he was on every movie.
All right, I know we got to go. How do people find out more about the organization, specific events, things? If people are listening to this and they have a friend that has a special needs child or family member, how do they get plugged in, involved in what you're doing and get connected?
Of course. So We're obviously on Facebook and Instagram, both Java Joy and ESP. So we would love for everyone to follow along on our journey and join us for our journey if you can. But on our website, for the ESP website, is extraspecialpeople.com. That will give you so much insight into what it is that we do here at ESP. And if you have more questions there are a multitude of links where you can email people and get more information that way. You can always give us a call. We're just a phone call away, so I encourage you to do that. Please come visit us. We're really not that far away from the North Georgia area. A good excuse to come down for a Georgia game.
Big game coming up this weekend.
And we would love to see you. For Java Joy, again, we have a website, javajoy.org. You can learn a little bit more about us there, a little bit more about our story that I kind of touched on. We would love for you to get plugged into what we do and allow you to come have a joy experience yourself.
Quick question before we end. So when you are going to a place, can somebody from a neighboring town just come over?
So our events kind of go two ways. We have public events where it is the person who booked us is inviting the community to come out and enjoy Java Joy. And then we have private events as well where it's more geared toward that atmosphere. On our website, there's a calendar called Experience Java Joy. And if you just take a look at that calendar, it has all of our community events. So feel free to pop in on any of those that you see.
Okay.
Our Instagram is java.joy. And ESP's Instagram is ESP_Inc.
Okay. And the websites again?
ESP's website is extraspecialpeople.com, and Java Joy is javajoy.org. And again, you can contact us from there.
Okay, perfect. Well, guys, I really appreciate this. I hope that our time here is going to not just provide some opportunity and some joy for some people, but connect some families with special needs kids that are going to have life-changing experiences because of this. So,
thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Nikki. The Nikki Stanley is signing off.
Make sure you come by and get us some coffee, and it tastes really good, and it'll wake you up strong.
Final words from the Nikki Stanley.
That's how you end a podcast.
Well, thank you so much. We certainly hope to meet all of you who listen to this podcast. And thank you for listening.
Yep. This is the North Georgia Life Podcast. Embrace life where you live.